This is the Royal Palace of Madrid.
Palace!
It's one of the largest palaces on the planet. You could fit the Palace of Versailles in France and Buckingham Palace in England, both inside this one palace. It's so massive. Madrid wasn't originally the capital of Spain. Before that, it was in Toledo. In 1561, King Philip moved it to Madrid. And there was a castle there before that. And it was actually built by the Muslims. And the original castle that was there was actually built by Muhammad I, who was the local sultan. Eventually,
It was destroyed by fire!
eventually the Christians got it, they used it for themselves, and then there was a big fire. It lasted 4 days. The king at that time was like, I'm super rich right now. That old palace, that's super old. Let's just let it burn. I'm gonna build something way bigger, way cooler, way more awesome, and that's what happened. This is the courtyard. It's absolutely massive. If you were any kind of importance back in the day, you'd be driven in with a horse and carriage, and you go through the gates, and then you would wait there in that massive courtyard. Your actual carriage would go inside into the palace, and this is where all the carriages would come in to the palace. This is the first thing you see inside the palace, and this place is absolutely massive. And the ceilings are probably like 3 stories high, and everything's made out of stone. Everything's just grand. That's where you would park the carriage, right under these arches. Once you get down from your carriage, there's the staircase that leads up to the palace right there. This is definitely opulence.
Another fun fact, this whole staircase is made by one whole marble.
Each step is one piece of marble. And that is a painting of coronation from the heavens right there. That is a statue of Caesar there too. And that's the seal of Spain. So you can see the Castile and Leon, and then Granada, and all the other kingdoms that comprise Spain. And this is the current royal family of Spain right here. This is their portrait, and this is an oil painting. These chandeliers are made in Segovia. They say these are the best chandelier makers in all of Europe. And one of those chandeliers costs about $1 million. And of course, the floors are not to be missed. They're equally as stunning. Look at all that marble right there. I just want to give you a little scale of how big this palace is, because this palace has 3,400 rooms in it. In fact, over 1 million square feet. Can you imagine 1 million square feet? That's how big this palace is. So this is the Stradivarius Hall. And if you don't know who Stradivarius is a world famous violin maker from about 200 years ago. And they say that he made the best instruments that were ever made, to the point that Stradivarius violins right now fetches prices north of $20 million for one violin. So these are the most priced musical instruments. The palace has a collection actually of Stradivarius instruments, from violins to violas to cellos and double basses. This hall is where they would have concerts. So they would have orchestras that would come here, and that's where they would play. And there's an interesting story with this carpet right there. They rolled that out. If there's going to be musicians that play, they roll that huge carpet out. I bet it helps a lot with the acoustics of the place. When you roll that carpet out, it's going to sound different. I have to say, Madrid has some of the best weather on the planet. Across the Courtyard Plaza is the Madrid Cathedral.
Look at Easy sleeping.
How did you like the palace?
My favorite one is the banquet hall. It's just my first time seeing 150 chairs in this one long table. It's such a classic room, I guess, for me. That's basically the very essence of opulence.
So we just got done with the tour of the Royal Palace here in Madrid. To sum it up, is probably the most opulent, grand, luxurious, almost perfect thing I've ever experienced. And it's a house. During the time they built this, Spain was probably the richest country in the world. Definitely get a tour when you come here, because there's a lot of things here that I don't think the audio tours will be able to cover. Our tour guide, his name was Javier, and I'll put his link in the description, and have a tour with him when you come down. The palace. This is the main cathedral of the city of Madrid. The real name of it is the Cathedral of Saint Mary, the Royal of the Almuenda, also known as the Almuenda Cathedral for short. This cathedral was started in 1883 and it was finished in 1993, so that's over 100 years to make this cathedral. And as you can see, they let a lot more light in compared to the medieval style church. The light from the stained glass windows just shining, it's kind of divine actually. The ceilings are really decorated ornately, really beautiful art. And that is the super epic altar, and it is in the center of the church, and the church is shaped like a cross. And look at that ceiling. What did I say about Spanish architecture? It is amazing. And this is the Virgin Mary right there. Said a prayer when I went up there. And this is their bishop. That was the palace and the Madrid Cathedral, and we definitely recommend check those places out when you visit Madrid.
And get a tour guide.
Thanks for joining us for this tour of the Madrid Royal Palace and the Cathedral. Join us for more of our Spain trip.
Watch our previous video.
Oh yeah, check out our previous video about Segovia. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. Ciao!